All right, welcome back. We're back again. Gonna recap the playoffs this time around. So it's been a long time we've been waiting to do this, but finally schedules lined up and here we are. So welcome back, Brendan.
Thank you.
So before we get started, I wanted to recognize some sad news, the passing of one of our teachers, Mr. Shorey, over this past week. So really saddened by that, and just our thoughts are going out to his family and everything. He was a really nice guy and always willing to help out students, and as well as he helped out with the basketball and he helped run the game clock there and everything. And there's a lot that goes into it, as we both know, about creating, the setup for all these games, and he was a part of that. The crew that doesn't get enough recognition, I would say. So really saddened by that, but just thought we should take a minute to recognize that. All right. So, Brendan, we'll start with the boys team, and then we'll talk about the girls afterwards. But the first round, they were at home against Inner Lakes, and that game was pretty good. They won 65-49. Not a ton to say about it. You remember playing in the first round at all?
Yeah, first round was always easy, without a doubt. I
Yeah.
mean, the years we made the playoffs, we were always within top three teams, so we were always playing the bottom of the pack, and that unless you mess something up pretty royally, you should be able to win those handily.
Yeah. Um, I think that's a good point. Talked to Coach Miller, and he said that he had this list of, I forget, I think it was like three teams that he was expecting to play, and Inner Lakes was not one of them, so he didn't have long to prepare. But still, they came away with a good victory in that game and played well. So and they didn't have everybody the entire game, but move on to the second round, and that Campbell game was incredible. It was such a great game. Colton Martell was one of their players. He's similar to you in the way that he's very tall. He's probably about your height, and he can also shoot. Just a very athletic guy. And they were down at one point in the, I think it was the third quarter. They were trailing, and they just battled back to come away with the victory. And that was a wicked awesome game. Do you remember playing Campbell at all and Evan to guard Colton Martell?
That name does not ring a bell, no. Campbell past my junior and senior year, their teams were primarily seniors, so we never really played there. Like I don't think whoever was a senior this year really played much, if at all. I don't none of those that name doesn't ring a bell from Campbell at least.
Yeah, he was one of the. He got honors. I forget which it was, but at the end of the season, he was recognized as one of the best players in the state. I forget if he was first team or second team, but I know he won one of those. But that was just a fantastic game. And I remember after that game, I had to rush to go cover the General Hawks game because it was their senior night, and I had promised those guys I was gonna come by for their senior night. So we did an interview on the ice, but I had to rush over there after that Final Four game. But that was a lot of fun. Had a great time with that. But I'd say getting to the Final Four with so much turnover, with the loss of you and the rest of the seniors, as well as a completely new coaching staff, that was one heck of an achievement by
Oh,
coach.
that's definitely a win for sure.
Yeah. I mean, what were your thoughts about this team prior to the start of the season, just knowing everything they lost, what you thought their goals should be?
Well, I mean, obviously their goal is always a championship, but I don't really know. Not very many of them got a whole lot of minutes last year, just based off the fact there were a lot of seniors. And I mean, the year before, I don't even remember how many of them were on JV because I think at that point some might have been middle schoolers, some of them weren't playing anything like that. I mean, Robert came back this year too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I honestly didn't have much of a projection for them. I hadn't really thought about it much.
Yeah, so I want to get into the Final Four and what happened there. So we walk into Goffstown High for the Final Four, and we're in the second quarter, and it's Mascoma against St. Thomas, and people weren't sure which way that was going to go because St. Thomas had the height. St. Thomas was the higher seeds. St. Thomas ended up having the coach of the year when all was said and done. But Zach Thompson just took over that game. He was absolutely phenomenal. And I remember seeing him last year and the way he played against us. He was really good defensively. But I remember we talked about this last time. His offense has just gotten that much better since we had played him a year ago. But this year, just fast, smart passer, and he's unselfish. He makes all of his teammates better. There's passing the ball around, and he created so many opportunities for his teammates to score. And I think that's a big reason why they were successful. And that was obviously, unfortunately, the last game of your career was against Mascoma. What do you remember about them?
All I remember is Ben Seiler, honestly. I mean, Zach was on and off last year. I remember like some games he would have over 20, some he would have less than 5. So that was always a toss up, but it was Ben Seiler that we were always worried about because he was the one who got 1,000 points his junior year and was consistently the highest scoring person.
Yeah, I mean they had a lot of talent. I give a lot of credit to their coach Silas Ayres. I think he's one of the best coaches in Division 3. I mean to see the way he utilizes all of his players and figures out a game plan for all the different matchups. So I give credit to him for sure. But we'll get into the Guilford game. We're up against Guilford, and game starts off, and all of a sudden we're up 7-2, and we're like, okay, feeling good. Then gets away from us, and at the end of the first quarter, it was 18-9. We were trailing, and it was like, how did that happen? And we just saw how quick they are, how good they are, and just they can do it like that. And I remember in the huddle what Coach Miller was saying, just getting the guys keep going, keep working, and playing the game the way that they wanted to play. And at halftime, we had cut it to 30-27. So only trailed by 3 points after being down by 9. So won the second quarter by 6. And that's not easy against that team. You know that team very well. So that really impressed me a lot from, all of the guys, all the players, and also Coach Miller, because to come in as a first year coach after you've lost so much talent and be able to look at and say, hey, we still have a heck of a lot of talent here. And the way he developed that throughout the season, I mean, that was incredible. And then to keep Guilford that close, that just really impressed me. And I remember texting you after the game saying, he is legit. He's a really, really good coach. And I think they got a shot. I mean, he sticks around for years. They could win it one of these years, especially with everything that's Guilford's losing this offseason and Mascoma graduating Zach Thompson. So I think it's Hopkinton and St. Thomas for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about your experience playing against Guilford and what works well, what works not well against them?
Well, I mean, my junior year, we faced them in the championship game. I think we were up by like 12 at one point, and then the same thing that happened this year. It's like all of a sudden you're down by 12, and you have to crawl your way back. I don't think we were ever down by that much in the championship game, but I do remember in the first quarter we won it like maybe it was like 16-4 or something like that. We had them beat in the first quarter, and then their depth and our lack of depth caught up to us pretty quickly, and we ended up losing by 1. But I mean, it was a close game. Um, Last year we didn't play them in the playoffs, and I don't even remember how many times we played them in the regular season, but we did not handle them as well. We didn't have it. We had even less depth than we did the year before, and that kind of screwed us over.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of different tactics that come into play when going up against teams, and Guilford certainly has been standing at the top for 4 years now. So very tough team to go up against. In the end, they won by 20, which was about 20. Let's see, what was it? I have it down here. It was 42-62. So yeah, it was 20, and they ended up defeating Mascoma 69-43 in the championship. So we played them closer than Mascoma ended up doing so in the championship game. So, I mean, that shows you how good the team is. And I also think Coach McNicholas, he deserves some recognition, though. He comes in and after not coaching for a few years, wins JV Coach of the Year, only losing 2 games. That impressed me as well.
Yeah, no, I remember having him as a coach my freshman year. That he's fun.
He's a lot of fun. He's got a great personality and he knows the game. Yeah. So uh Jalen Reese leaving now. He won Player of the Year. That was the honor that you received last year, which incredibly tough to do when you're playing here. You have so many guys to compete against for that award. So can you talk a little bit specifically about what it's like going up against Jalen?
Yeah, I mean, he would we were pretty close to the same players. It seemed like he was maybe an inch or two shorter, but other than that, it was like playing against myself. I mean, that doesn't mean anything to anybody else, but
Well, I mean, some similarities I see. Obviously, the height. You guys are wicked tall, and the ability to play well in the paint and from beyond the arc. He's a great shooter, just like you are. So, just overall a good player. And when you have that size, it's pretty impressive what you guys can do on defense. So, I was
especially in
a bit
especially in
fascinated.
Division III New Hampshire basketball.
Yeah, this is true. I remember, I think it was Kearsarge. I had that stat sheet at one point. You have it now, but it was that game you had like, what was it, 31 points, 20 rebounds, and 6 blocks. That was
Wasn't definitely wasn't Kearsarge, but
all right.
that did happen.
Do you remember what game it was?
I don't know. I had my senior year, I had 3 triple doubles, so I don't know which team it was against. Um, I really have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that's all right. Anyway, just really overall impressed with the team. Noah A-Frame and Will Tanavasa, they didn't have a coach for a long time, and they got the guys in the gym in spite of, losing the rest of the seniors from last year and how discouraging that must have been. They still got everybody working in the gym over the summer playing AAU ball. And I'm very proud of them for their leadership and what they were able to accomplish in leading the team. And they didn't have a coach for a long time. They didn't get Coach Miller to be announced as their head coach until like late September. And when you think about it, the season starts in December. So they had him for about 2 months. So that was pretty impressive to me. And they got a good core there. So I'll be excited to see what they can accomplish moving forward, but certainly rooting for them to win the title one of these years. It's not an easy thing to accomplish. I mean, the last championship for the Hopkinton boys came in 1966. So
yeah,
just that we've both seen so many good teams come from the school and to see that it hasn't happened since then just shows you how difficult of a task it is. But I do believe that there are guys in there who are perfectly capable of doing it at some point. So hoping to see that soon. Next year they'll have an opportunity. And I was really impressed with MJ as well. He played well at the start of the season and just consistent shooter. But he announced that he is going to be going back to Slovakia, so that's going to be difficult to replace him next year. And then
oh,
also,
he's not coming back.
yeah, Gavin Davies, Kevin Ball, and Robert Rendon all graduating. So they'll be losing Davies and Yopa as starters, and then Rendon and Ball obviously providing some key depth.
Yeah,
I know, just fun season. Happy to be a part of it and get to watch all those games. It was really great, and it was awesome to see a different coaching style from Coach Miller than what I had seen from Coach Signor, like we've discussed in the past. Two really great coaches, just with different styles, and it's just interesting to me to see like the differences in the way that they run things. So talk about the girls teams now. So they played Newfound in the first round and won that one 45-24. It was pretty easy victory for them. Newfound deserves a lot of respect. They had not an easy situation where I forget, they didn't have much of a bench when they came up to play us because they had a lot of players with sickness or something, and they were didn't have, a lot of depth. So I was impressed by them. They worked hard and they ate to the end. I mean, it was 21-point game. There was still one of the players was diving on the floor for the ball at the very end. So a lot of heart, a lot of hustle, and I was very impressed with that group. Um, the second round was perhaps one of my favorite games of the season. Was traveled to Prospect Mountain, and they have a pretty nice high school, pretty nice gym. I hadn't been in there before. Do you remember playing
Uh,
there?
yeah, no, it's a very nice school there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because it was Coach Roy's birthday, and they ended up coming away with the victory. So it was 40, or rather 54-40, and come away with that victory on the road for Coach Roy's birthday was really something special. I had a lot of fun watching that. Elise and Shaylee both had incredible games. I forget exactly how many points they combined for, but they combined for, I want to say, like 40 points.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they like matched Prospect Mountain by themselves pretty much. And then they ended up facing Conant in the championship, or excuse me, the game before the championship, the second round, and it was 36-13 at halftime. So that was not an ideal situation, obviously, but they kept going, they kept pushing, and they won the second half, which is what they strive to do. And I talked to Coach Roy. Did you see the one with Coach Roy about a week ago?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just told them to go out there and work hard, and they did that. So I think they should be really proud.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Conant in girls basketball, Conant's always been
Mm.
the team that you get killed by, and it's just expected.
Yeah. They had they graduated two seniors this year, both of them perhaps top three players in Division 3. Bryn Radiola and Emma Tenters, both really good players. So I was impressed with what they did, and they should be proud. It was just pretty cool to be able to kind of do this and report on it all, and have two teams make it to the Final Four, because that doesn't happen every year where you have a school with both teams make it to the Final Four. So I think they were the only school in Division 3 to do that, and I think one of two schools, I want to say, in New Hampshire that
Wow.
accomplished that. So that's impressive. That shows
Yeah.
how strong this school is, and just great to be a part of. Concord Christian defeating Conant in the championship. Concord Christian had won the Division 4 championship the year before, and Conant won the championship the past. Monadnock won it the year before this, but Conant had won it a few years prior.
Yeah, Conant hadn't lost a game in like 3 years straight at one point, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. They lost Concord Christian. They played Concord Christian 3 times. They played them twice in the regular season, and they played them in the playoffs. And in the regular season, they won one and lost the other. And then they lost in the playoffs. And besides that, they lost to Monadnock in the championship. And besides that, I think in like an 80 game stretch, they only lost those 3 games.
Yeah, no, that's insane.
Yeah, just total ridiculous success. But New Hampshire basketball is cool. Fun to be a part of it. So Brendan, what's been going on with you lately? You got a little bit of time left?
I got a little, yeah. I mean, I got lots of homework to do, but that's
Yeah,
expected.
yeah,
Um, Nothing new. I only got like 4 weeks of classes left. Which it's it's a lot more than you have. You have like 2.5 months left.
yeah. You said you took a trip to the Great Lakes recently. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, just found out I was doing it the night before and then packed up and left on Friday morning and drove out to the Great Lakes and went on a fishing trip with a few of my friends that are in the club that I'm in. Um, and then stayed over at one of their lake houses that's on Lake Ontario and then came back yesterday in the afternoon.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something different.
Oh yeah, no, it's nice that I can do that sort of thing. Just pack up and leave. Which is why I have a lot of work to do today because I skipped classes Friday.
Yeah, I'll let you get back to it in a little bit. Just want to go over a couple other things that just cut me off if you don't have any time left. Feel free to do so. But got baseball season coming up, and very excited about that. Guys have been working hard in practice, and just ready to get back out there on the field. It's been a lot of time in the school gym recently because of just the fields not being ready. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to be back out there and senior season. So this is it.
What do you how do you think it's gonna go?
I think we have a very young team,
Yeah.
and they're. I'm encouraged by the effort they put in, and just I think if we can work together and we work really hard, I'll be happy. I said to them, let's just work hard. Let's work as hard as we can, push each other to do better, and we'll see what happens. We have Monadnock as our first game of the season on the 10th, so that's a week from tomorrow, and they're the defending back-to-back undefeated state champions. So
I was
that,
gonna say, yeah, they've always been good.
that'll be a challenge, but just go in there, work really hard, and have fun. And you never know because I think I'm just going to say it the way that it is. People don't have the highest expectations of us, but I'm always going to work hard to prove people wrong and just achieve our potential. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of really good guys there, and Coach Hill is just he's a really good coach. So I haven't had him, officially on the field yet, but he just his willingness to take over the program after having Coach Chase there for a long time, like he said last week. It's big shoes to fill, but
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
no, do you guys have enough to like fill all the positions
yeah,
without being worried about injuries? Because I knew you didn't have many people come out.
we have 14 players, and yeah, we have 14 players. In baseball, you need nine, and then obviously you want to have a bench for subs in case of injuries and with pitching especially.
Do you have enough pitchers?
We'll have enough pitchers, so it's going to be different. There'll be no JV program this year, but
Yeah.
it's like I said, we just work hard, and maybe it's not this year, maybe a few years down the line we see, hey, we set the foundation this year, but a few years down the line, there's a lot more achievement. But I'm going to be happy as long as we work really hard, and I think we can be, I think we can be a very competitive baseball team this year. I really do.
Yeah. It's all you can ask for is effort.
Yeah, and I think just getting experience is not always the easiest thing because you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but we'll get there. I really think so. And I think this team is going to continue to get better as the season progresses. And I've been a part of teams where you haven't had the most experience, but as the season goes on, you just continue to improve. Yeah. So looking forward to it. Hopefully you'll be able to, sounds like you'll be able to make the last game of the season.
Probably, yeah. I think I come home maybe 22nd, 23rd of May. So should be able to.
Yeah, it's on the 26th. We got Belmont, so yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. You gonna hit a home run that game for me or
I'll try my best. Hey, if I hit a home run, we'll never hear the end of it. Just be ready for that. I don't know
oh,
if you
oh I
want me.
know.
Oh, you will never hear the end of it.
No, that ball's going in a vault somewhere, probably.
Oh yeah, high school home run. That'd be pretty cool. Last regular season game, but just continue to work on.
I haven't hit a home run since sixth grade, so
Yeah, that's right. You used to play. How come you didn't come out last year? I tried to recruit you.
I gotta work. At, at, in spring of my senior year, it was more important for me to have money than it was for me to um play baseball. Put it bluntly.
I got you, but I always said you only have, your little 4-year window to play, and then once you graduate, you got your whole life to work. But I know that basketball is obviously your favorite sport. So I got you. But
Yeah.
yeah, any major stories you can think of, just in general?
No, nothing off the top of my head.
I had one, and I was curious to see what you thought of that. If you got a few more minutes. These UFOs have been popping all over the country as we've been seeing like all these reports of different UFOs and everything. What are your thoughts on this?
So no, I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't heard any of this.
Well, the news reports are saying that, well, there was like the whole weather balloon scandal or whatever. And then it was somebody says, "Oh, I've seen a UFO. I saw this. I saw that." Do you think it's people making up stories, or do you think there's legit could be extraterrestrials?
I don't know. I saw a video, like an interview with a former Air Force pilot. Um, this is probably like 3 weeks ago now, but he was saying how when they'd go on like night training missions, and at this point they were like good enough pilots. They're off on their own. They weren't really being surveillance. They would they would purposefully try and make people have UFO sightings by like turning off all the lights and like flying really low over the campfires or whatever they said they saw, and they'd say in the morning there was a UFO sighting by the people they were buzzing by with their fighter jets. So I have no idea. Who knows? It could just be people messing with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw similar stuff like that, and I've heard people like Navy pilots say, "Hey, we saw stuff. We don't know what it is." But I don't know. I feel like there's a definite possibility that that's alien life is real. I think it's more probable than not when you think about like, just one planet that we're on. And you got all the galaxies and everything. So, but the idea that aliens have been to Earth and they got these little UFOs flying over, I don't know. But I know. I figured it'd be something interesting to discuss.
Yeah, no, I don't bother myself with that sort of stuff.
What would you do if you saw a UFO? I'm curious.
I'd just be like, oh, a plane, cool, move on with my day.
The most chill reaction possible. All right.
It's an easier explanation.
Okay. Well, anyway, unless you have any additional things you want to cover, I think this will be pretty much it.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, take care, buddy. And
Yeah, no, you too.
yeah, I'm sure we'll talk more and have more episodes, but looking forward to it. I'm trying to make some upgrades, make some improvements, as you know. Got a sign, and I just got to put it up on the wall now. And it's gonna make some improvements. Bought a tripod recently, so just continuing
Nice.
to improve, and hopefully, I'm working on a project that I can't announce yet. You know what it is, but a little teaser there for the viewers that hopefully we'll be announcing something in a week, and I think it'll be a good thing if it can all come together. So just more to come in the future, but take care.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, see ya.
Bye.